Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me.
So, what are you up to for today?
Today I've just been leveling my characters. Uh, like I have like a warlock alt. We're gonna summon for world bosses, so I'm just like leveling that right now.
Yeah, I never get a lot of Alliance guests since I'm mostly Horde, and I don't think there's any. Well, except McTingles, actually. I have an interview with him.
Oh,
So,
dude, McTangle is awesome.
yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm always excited of interviewing Alliance because getting to know the other side of the faction is pretty neat, in my opinion.
Dude, yeah, we got a couple of strong characters over here. A
Yeah.
lot of deep drama, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. What are the uh major guilds in Alliance right now?
Um, so by major, I don't know if you mean by like
Like really active. For let's start with the raiding guild.
for raiders.
Yeah, for
Um,
raiders. Yeah.
Yeah, Pupper Pals is definitely up there in terms of like clear times. They're
Mhm.
considered some of the more sweaty ones. We have actually a lot of raiders. I think most of the guilds are hardcore raider. There's also entitled and the boys, which is where I'm at. Just the Citadel. Reforge is pretty strong in numbers as well.
Mhm.
Maelstrom, and yeah, there's just a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you
I
can tell from the paper itself.
right. And what's the ratio from Alliance to Horde is kind of it's a huge difference, right? I I think it got better later on. I think it's like what 60 to 40 now, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was like 55 to 45,
Oh yeah, you
but
yeah, you're
yeah, I'm
right.
not too sure.
Yeah, I think so that's more accurate. But
Yeah, we're really trying to draw in more people to the Horde side though to keep it more balanced. It's more
yeah,
fun that way.
yeah, I mean even if more alliance go into our server, I mean that's not a problem either, if it's people decide to just transfer from any other servers out there, even if they're alliance. I mean, we still encourage that, but right now the priority is really like the horde. Um, Not that we're more important; it's just to balance the faction wise aspect of this game.
Yeah, it's been good. Like when we saw Purge join into a new guild,
Hmm.
like we actually thought that was really exciting because they were really involved in world PvP. Because at the end of the day, this is like an RP server, but it's also a PvP server. So it was really exciting to see them get more involved in like world bosses and like come try to take our buffs and stuff. Like, yeah, that's annoying, but it's also like, yo, that's part of the game. It's actually really fun and funny.
Yeah, it is. I actually was talking to somebody about this and didn't like that. They thought that this was something that needed to be stopped by talking to the actual players in the other side, like through Discord or Reddit. But I'm like, you're messing with the nature, man. This is not something that you would want to stop because it
Yeah,
is
it's
part
part of
of
the
the
game.
game.
Like, I
Yeah,
want to see more of it.
yeah, yeah, me too. It's, I mean, something that really, I'm not around when that happens because of my schedule is kind of messed up right now, especially when this Zul'Garab raid coming in. It's gonna be more added into my schedule, which is gonna mess with my interview, I guess. So I'm trying to get a lot of people in before this ZG release. So
Oh, yeah, true.
so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out our raid times, and if it's gonna be official, then I can think of a more a proper time to set my interviews. So I'm just waiting on that. See what's gonna happen on Wednesday, and we'll see how it goes. Are you guys excited for that?
Yeah, I've played WoW in the past, but I haven't really played classic content, so I can't really remember if I've even done Zul'Gurub or some of the other ones. Like I definitely didn't really do MC or BWL in classic version, so that was exciting for me. But mentioning the times is actually really interesting because I'm actually on the West Coast. So when the coronavirus wasn't around, I had to go into work a little bit early and then leave early to come back in time to raid because we raid at 8 p.m., which is 5 p.m. for me. So it means I have to like hop out of work early in those days. So depending on what time Zolgrub is, it's like it's kind of monk ass to think about it.
Yeah. Uh, yes, there's gonna be like three raid times that the MC was kind of when we started raiding MC without any other raids, it was kind of like, oh cool, every week I have a lot of time to maybe level another alt, or maybe just fuck around for any reasons, farm or anything like that. But when BWO came, I kind of underestimated it because when it came, we started farming on consumable, especially the flask when it got expensive. I'm here, trying to farm, make money, make gold, and buying the Black Lotus and such. And I did not occur to me that it's been like a month before I uploaded anything in my episode. So I'm like, oh no, I gotta figure this out. So after like a week or so, I sat down and thought through it, my process of thinking, and figured out what I wanted to do, especially when we actually decided on the schedule for BWL when it's official on that schedule. Then that helped a lot. And the same thing for me when in CG, when this happens, when it's gonna release, and like I said, just waiting on the official time it's set, so I can figure out like a time and a way to interview people.
Yeah, I really like what you do. It's really cool.
So what character are you on right now? Is it are you on Lustless character, or are you leveling an alt? You said.
I'm on a warlock right now. Trying to get to level 20.
Okay.
It's like an alt called Nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Nonetheless.
Which is it's kind of like a cute throwback to Lustless because I was trying to think of a bunch of names, and I had one called Carbless, but then after I got to level 10, I was like, "Fuck, this is such a bad name." So it's supposed to be carbless, as in like no carbohydrates, because I live a keto lifestyle where you just don't eat carbs.
Sure, yeah.
But then after I got to 10, I was like, oh man, it's not clear because people can read it as carbless or carbles s.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, either way, this like doesn't make sense. So I picked a different name.
Yeah.
And I'm liking this name a lot more because it's like it has the word less in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of like a throwback to my main,
Mm-hmm.
but it also has the word the
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in and the boys.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, I think Nan is kind of cool too because like it took me such a long time to get this name or to like to think of it.
Yeah.
And it's still like a one-word name.
It's funny you mentioned that because Rectitude mentioned something like that on the podcast about naming characters and how he had he created a horde named Shaktitude, and his alliance name is Rectitude.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's not intentional. It wasn't like, I did that on purpose. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that at first, naming it my main character Green Hell, and then my alt is Speed Limit. It's far fetched. It's like they don't have anything to do with each other. But it's a good thing to have that though. Like you can actually you can think of if you had any of the word in your main character on it.
Dude, yeah. It's all about the brand, like the system.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been kind of thinking or doing this in each episode. I need to meet up with you so I can take a picture, but we can do it later. Where's the best way to meet up? You think like Tannerus maybe? Like how?
Dude, anywhere works. I can even visit Orgrimmar, no problem.
Oh yeah. I kind of took picture with Rectitude and Gadget San already. So where's your priest parked.
I'm a priestess in Stormwind, but we can probably do
Stormwind.
it later because I'm in a dungeon right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to take a picture with a couple of people that I've already interviewed, and we can do that later on if you don't have time tonight. But yeah, what are you running right now?
Dead Mines.
Dead Mines, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Dead Mines. That's probably like one of my favorite dungeon. It's Dead Mines because
Is it?
yeah, because all the bosses there are pretty straightforward, and the actual last bosses I enjoyed so much. Killing the Morlock, and there's actually 3 bosses on the last boss. Wait, there's 3 bosses in there, right? At the end.
Like sort of like they stand together.
Okay.
Edwin Van Cleef, and then just like some other people around.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Because after you kill him, there's supposed to be something coming out after that, right? Or was that later on?
There's Captain Greenskin, Edwin Van Cleef defies Blackguard.
And then the Morlock at the bottom of the ledge after the boss is dead. It's been a while since I've been there, and I'm pretty sure you've noticed there's a lot of keystrokes going on in each of my podcast. Part of this thing which makes it easier for me is you can play this game while talking.
Yeah.
Right now I'm helping this mage. He's about to get one-shotted. So did you play retail at all, or do you play retail?
No, I don't play retail. I played up to Wrath. I played a little bit of Cataclysm, but don't remember much. And then that's about it.
What gotten you into playing WoW Classic?
I've been waiting for it for like 2 years.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I've been waiting for a long time, and then yeah, when it came out, I just played it.
Was Priest what your main character that you thought first, or was there any other class that you wanted to play besides
Yeah,
Priest?
I played Priest at the very beginning, and then I just kept with it. And I just really wanted to play for the nostalgia. I was kind of dumb, and I thought so. I played mostly for Arena,
Mm-hmm.
and I hardly did any raids. So coming back, I'm like, crap. I have to like learn all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, same. There's a lot of people that had to relearn all this stuff too, even with especially BWL. All those bosses out, it's just write out tactics, and like everyone has to know what they're doing. And multi-core, not so much. I don't think you need to like research anything on that because it was kind of given, tank and spec, and the only boss in there really to pay attention to, I think, is Baron or like Rag, really. But it's pretty straightforward. Never had to worry about looking it up or messing up when it comes to raiding molten core. But BWL, I actually had to watch some videos.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's pretty fun. I really like the feeling of raiding with 40 people because that's not something that TBC really had.
Mm.
Or no, they did, but I just didn't do that much. I don't know. Well, I don't know. My WoW experience is really, really different from most people's because at the time, I was living in China, so I played Chinese servers.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool.
And then I know, so I was like in Chinese servers, things were really, really, really different then. Even for TBC, like we were stuck in TBC for, I think, 1 or 2 extra years.
Mm-hmm.
So then, because of that, they changed the way a lot of things worked. So we got level 80 skills at level 70. And then
wow.
we didn't have to do any attunements. I was shocked when people said that they had to go through like a 6-month chain quest to get into Hyjal. I was like, yo, I'm pretty sure you just walk in. And everyone's like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? We just walked in back in the day.
Wow, that's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I started playing Classic. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to play because we'll have all these skills. They're like, no, they didn't come out till Wrath of the Lich King. I was like, what? What are you talking about? So
So this,
super
so
interesting.
this was the Burning Crusade when you lived in China when it came out there, you started playing, and then um, after coming back here in Classic,
Yeah,
you had to do all these attunement. Is that just that recent when you found that out, or was this?
I found out like shortly before Classic started. I
Mm-hmm,
was like, oh, I'm really excited to have like all these skills that I missed,
mm-hmm,
like penance and shit.
mm-hmm,
And they're like, dude, penance is a Wrath of the Lich King skill. I was like, what? And then I just like realized that a lot of things were really different.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because they changed the skills for people, they also changed the dungeons for people. So they tweaked the bosses so they were suitable to the skills that we had. So the game was just like completely different.
Wow.
On top of that, like I didn't raid that much because everything was in Chinese.
Mm-hmm,
And then obviously when you're raiding, you're on voice chat. And my Chinese wasn't very good.
mm-hmm,
So I just pretended I didn't have a microphone and I would just be like just trying to follow people on what they're doing.
Man, that would be really, really hard. It's like
I
or
know that's why I didn't rate that much. It's actually really funny now that I think about it. Just pretend I didn't have a microphone.
that's oh man, that's like that would be like in a kind of a hardcore mode, I guess, in your situation.
Yeah. And I would try to read up on bosses and mechanics and stuff, but the way that Chinese people play the bosses was also different. And because we had different skills, it made sense that they did it differently. So it didn't work to read up on the bosses that way.
That's very interesting. Like I did not know it even applied to games. In especially like it didn't matter like if it's the same game. I didn't know that it applied to this too. Like you know how different countries have different cultures.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
want.
funny because like so the way they played is like I don't know why, but they're so good at finding ways to bug out the boss. So for any boss that they could bug out,
Hmm.
everybody would just learn it and do it. So for
Oh.
example, the last boss in Hyjal,
Hmm.
the part where there's like a big plot of land, there's like this big ass tree, and then this boss comes from like behind.
Hmm.
It's like a really big boss. There's this one spot in the entire map where if you stand there, you won't get hit by the flame.
Hmm.
So like all 40 people would just stand in that one spot the entire fight.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah, we just stand in the one spot and then we just fight the boss there.
Wow. Well, does the Blizzard in China or whoever manages the servers there or the actual company there, do they have like a lower tolerance than U.S. servers or U.S. Blizzard workers as far as what do I call those game masters? They wouldn't just collect the data of what's happening in their server and tell them to quit doing it for the exploit. Is that something that is really
I never
allowed there or?
I never actually considered like anything being an exploit until I played Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was never an issue then.
Sure,
That
yeah.
was just how we play the boss. We just bug it out
Mm-hmm.
and then just like cheat it.
Yeah.
If we could skip the boss away, we would. There's just like a couple of dungeons where you can just skip bosses by bugging them out.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, I wish
Yeah.
that it happened here. I mean, people would probably do that. It did happen, but you know, people were kind of sharing it, and that was part of the exploit that happened. I guess that maybe you know a lot of people didn't say a lot of things when they figured out the actual bugging out of the boss. That's probably why like Blizzard never found out. But in our case, when this whole phase thing, I don't know if you remember that when they go into dungeons and you phase the boss out to kill them again and they respawn. Do you remember that happening in the server or in the WoW Classic at all?
Or you get the boss to respawn.
Yeah, when there's a what is that called? Like when there's a system right before when we started because there's so much people in one server, they created this
Oh, layering.
layering. Yes, that's the term. When we had that, people figured out they could layer a dungeon inside an instance, and they would layer it so after they kill a boss, and they're still in the same
Oh,
spot.
I remember that. They
Yeah,
patched that real quick.
what's that?
They patched that really quickly.
Yeah, they did, and they actually found out a lot of people did that, and they kind of recorded on who kind of took advantage of that, and I think they kind of semi-banned people from those, or if I remember, they like took the gear or something. There was some kind of punishment, but it wasn't like a major one. I don't know if it was like a temporary ban or anything like that, but I do remember
Oh.
them applying some kind of punishment.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
they patched it like really quick, like within a day or two of finding out about it.
yeah, they're fairly quick when it comes to the the Chinese servers, or when you were there, that could have been quickly patched if if that was in US, or maybe not, but I'm not really sure like how it works there. That's kind of awesome and weird at the same time.
I don't think they could have done anything because like Blizzard still holds the code, but then the company like taking care of it was a different one called Wangi, like EasyNet.
Hmm.
So I bet it would have been hard.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably another thing that they have to go through and probably not want to deal with it. I see like Blizzard doesn't probably have the 100% hold of companies in China, since the government probably like will hold a lot of aspect to that. But I don't know. I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of guessing, I guess. But yeah, that's really cool. Like it's. Did you live there Did you work in China, or like were you
No, I
going
was
to
still in
school there?
school then.
Okay.
Yeah, I was attending international school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to play WoW. So it was funny because I've always played games,
Hmm.
and then in high school, my friend was like, "Hey, like we're all playing this game together. It's called World of Warcraft," and they're like, "You should play. You would love it."
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Okay, sure." They're like, "Oh, but it's like it costs money." I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not playing money. I'm not paying money to play a game."
Yeah,
He's like, "No, no, no. Trust, trust, trust. Like, I'll pay for your first 2 months. You can try for free. If you don't like it, you don't have to play." I'm like,
that's nice.
"Okay, okay, that sounds fine." So I played the first month, and I was like, "I'm hooked."
Hmm.
Been playing for so long after that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it the same price then? 15.
No, it was not. It was back then. It was pay by the minute. It
Oh.
was 30 kwai or 30 RMB for mm, I think it was 3,000 minutes
Hmm.
for 30 kwai. And
Which
then
which is 30 kwai
so
would
30
be.
RMB is about so divide that by 7 now, I think is the conversion rate. So it's about a little less than $5.
Oh, wow. And that's including internet use, I assume, or it's just the time that you were in the game.
No, it's just game time.
Game
So
time.
that's how it used to be.
Okay.
And then they changed it much later. Like in when Wrath came out, they changed it to subscription.
Okay.
Yeah. But back then, like for the actually, I don't know. I don't think it was that expensive, but it did go by kind of quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when I play, like, I actually learned Chinese by playing WoW, which is
Yeah,
why like I have so much attachment to the game as well.
that's cool.
So we would change the WTF files so that it would get the English version.
Hmm.
So I played like with the UI in English, but then everything else in Chinese.
Hmm.
And then when I got to max level, which was 70 at the time, I was like, okay, I have to switch everything back to Chinese, or I'm not gonna know what people are saying.
Yeah,
Because if they say a skill and I can't match that up with something, I'll be like forever confused.
yeah, good
So
point.
I like switched it back to Chinese, and I had to like learn a bunch of stuff,
Hmm.
and then that's how I just got by, just like trying to learn this.
Sure.
But that's
Was
when people like say skills in English now. Like when I was first playing Classic, I was like, "Fuck, I don't know what that is," because I
mhm.
only know the Chinese version.
And was there any like some type of translation thing that you could edit, like if people created some type of um like get got into the WTF file and recreated the whole Chinese like words, I guess, that's in there, translation from English to Chinese. But I think no, that would be a problem because the grammar wouldn't be right. It's kind of like searching in
There's
Google
not
in
translation.
Google.
It's like you go into WTF files and then into the realm name or something, you change
Hmm.
it to the US servers, but then you play the game on the Chinese server. So it's like
Oh, okay,
using the same UI as like we have now,
okay.
but then the server is just in China.
That's yeah, that's really really interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, right?
yeah. I wanted to ask you about your I guess call it side job for the newspaper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, how did you um, meet bacteria, or was there? Did you know them already, or like what? Like, how? When did you start?
So I actually didn't start on DV Delight. I started on Fairbanks with the guild Entitled. So we were considering transferring to the server, and we looked at quite a few. But what really drew our attention to this one was actually the newspaper, or for me at least. I remember they were posting like, "Oh my god, the server even has a server newspaper. They're so RP. I love it." I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god, that is so cool!" Like, I actually love the spirit of this guild. And then when I talked to a couple of people in the Discord, I was like, "Wow, I think like this is the lifestyle that I want. I want to be able to have like people who I know, like people who I see all the time, and then just like be able to hang out with them." And I like RPing too. I think that's like a really fun culture that not a lot of games have. So I was like, okay, I'm really into this. I messaged Bacteria and I'm like, hey, like I work as a designer. I really love what you guys do, and I would be happy to jump on board. And he was also excited because he's like, actually, our designer just left, so we were looking for a designer. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm totally down to help. I looked into how they work their files, and I noticed like a couple things all these pages are separated into like bits and pieces. Like, why not just make a one file? There's a lot of like weird fonts going on, like some alignment issues. So I'm like, okay, yeah, they could definitely use my help. Um, so then when he finally gave me access, yo, they were working on this in Google Drive, like Google PowerPoint, and then saving it as a PNG. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, but I was actually very impressed given what they did with just Google PowerPoint. That's actually pretty baller. So I introduced them to a professional design tool called Figma, and that's where like all our magic happens. We can work it at the same time. Like Google Drive, we can work it on the same time. It's everything's one page, and then I have all the tools that I need like as a designer to be able to make something really interesting. So it's been really fulfilling. I really enjoy the concept of being able to give back to the community and create an experience that people will remember.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree, 100%. It's one of those things that I don't really think about when I'm doing it. And I like the fact that you had your expertise thought process when you mentioned about the way they were trying to do it. And when your expertise kicks in, that's when you get all anal about what they're trying to do. And I mean, it's not bad, it's just that you can't help it sometimes, just like, oh, they could have done this better. I understand that completely, which is pretty amazing to me.
Thanks, yeah. I think it's like a cool opportunity to be able to like where design can really enhance the experience. And given that so many people actually read it, it's like, oh, you might as well make it easier to read, like more engaging. So it's just at the end, it's just fun, you know,
Mm.
like not getting anything out of it, like monetary wise, just doing it for fun.
Sure, yeah. It's the Was there like any specific layout when you were trying to design this? Like, is there a way, like, do you have to have like a reference from your previous work, or your like an actual idea that you created first, and then reference to that whenever you guys create a new issue?
Uh, Not really what you're saying in terms of like an ID. I'm not too sure what that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a previous designer who came on to who was working on before me, and they set the creative direction for it,
Mm-hmm.
which I really appreciate. They actually have a really nice logo. You can tell that this person had put a lot of thought into it in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like the look and feel. Um, I retraced their steps and I found like the fish, like the font that they used. I like saw like the parchment paper and I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the sources they saw for the old newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just Google like old newspapers, like you can see that they tried to copy their layout.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of followed their footsteps and I just up the execution a little bit. So given that we're using Figma now, I was able to use like more high quality fonts.
Mm-hmm.
So then the part where I really tweaked it was like chose better fonts to represent like what we wanted to do. Like set the lighting, the grid, the system, and then I try to make every issue like somewhat different or like try to highlight like different points.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fun for me to like play with the layouts and stuff too.
Sure.
But ultimately, we wanted to replicate like old style dwarven newspaper with like a kind of a little bit of a modern feel.
Mm-hmm.
So before we were trying to go like really, really dwarven, where we would even like color out the images so it's like parched out.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like it was kind of not colorful enough.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just trying to make it slightly more editorial, like a little bit more modern,
Yeah,
like increase the spacing a bit, stuff like that.
that's really cool. I really dig that talent of yours. It's pretty amazing. It's really impressive.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really encouraging when you have people coming up to you and go like, "Hey, like I really like what you do. Like it's something
Mm-hmm.
that really cool. That's really cool." Like so we highlighted Tiny in the last paper, Tiny
Yeah.
Traveler.
Yes, I
He had
saw
like
that. Yeah.
600 hours of like walking, RP walking.
That's freaking ridiculous. That
Yeah,
is freaking nuts.
and then he told us that like he was playing Hearthstone, and then
Mm.
somebody added him and said, "Yo, I saw your name in this World of Warcraft paper." And he was like, "Oh my God." Like so like people are recognizing him outside of the game, and I think that is like really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad for that. And yeah, I think the opposite, the other faction of RP walking and our horde is Sad Moon. No, it's not Sad Moon. Was it Sad Moon?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane to think about that. I mean, there's two people that are trying to do this RP walking thing. That shows a lot of motivation to play this game alone. I mean, the leveling alone on this, it's slow and ridiculous. People hate it sometimes. I hate it sometimes, but you know, if you're RP walking and leveling, holy crap, that doubles the slowness of it.
Right, that's like next level RP.
It is.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of potential improvement that we're trying to recreate in our server. So I'm glad that you decided to transfer here and helped out with the newspaper.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, was there any, like you said, like your guild transferred, like all of you transferred here, or it's just a few people?
Vast majority transferred. If of entitled.
Of
And
entitled.
then since then I've actually joined and the boys. So I'm not with them anymore.
I see. What happened? Are they still together or?
Yeah, they're still together. They're still rating. They have three rate teams, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like I played with them for a long time, but I felt like I didn't quite fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any animosity towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think everyone inside is like really nice. But at the end of the day, I didn't really fit in. I didn't have that many friends in the guild.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, yeah, I wish that you were a horde, so we can. But but I guess that doesn't matter if you're helping out with the newspaper. So
Yeah,
that's
it's cool.
another
I
thing.
feel like because I get to talk to bacteria
Mm-hmm.
and oh my God, I always butcher her name. Like Dominatrix?
Domin something. I think I remember her or him.
Oh my God, I'm the worst. Oh my God, don't kill me. Yeah, Dominatrix.
Dominic Strix or
She's like our new editor
mhm.
for the paper and she's on the Horde side.
Mhm.
So just like being able to talk to them, I feel like a little bit more involved with the Horde side, and it's like I really like that you guys have so much RP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to put a little plug.
Mhm.
So I'm working on a secret daily deviant project.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna
Is
be
off.
a little bit
Is this off the record or?
no.
Okay.
We can tell people.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna say what it is. But I'm just saying like there's gonna be a secret project that will be released sometime in the future.
Mhm.
And I also want to give out um, kind of like a plug for anyone who wants to help with the paper for design.
Mhm.
Um, I want to prio someone who actually wants to learn like professional level design and who wants to help out the paper so I can kind of like ramp them on so
Mhm.
I can also work on this side project as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, looking for one designer who's interested, who wants to maybe do this like more professionally.
You have to have at least 10 years experience of Photoshop.
No.
Um.
No, as long as you're willing to learn or and that you have like maybe some basic experience, that's like good enough.
That's another thing too. With this, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna contact you or bacteria or whoever. But if you want to announce that to like, did you already announce that on Discord too, just to kind of help out, or
No, this is the first time I'm saying it to anyone.
maybe you can announce that too on Discord. There's probably a lot of audience that can read that, and not a lot of people listen to this. And
No, it's all good. Yeah, like I'm just looking for one person if there's even one person. If not, it's all good. Like I can still handle it.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you're in your design background, this is what you do professionally, right? In real life.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I've messed with Photoshop a little bit. If you checked out my website, I don't know, it's kind of funny. I just put that together by creating my little logo and ripping off part of. I think I downloaded this font, World of Warcraft font, and that's what I've been using.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really like heavily designed Photoshop implemented in my website. It's just you could have done that easily in Paint, but the fading you can't do that. But otherwise, I would have used Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what I actually do, I work as a user experience designer, which is quite different from graphic design. You still have like the basics in traditional graphic design, but it's actually very different in terms of the work. So for the paper, it's pure graphic design, which is not what I normally do, but I still have the skills.
Can you get into more of what you do, like from day to day basis?
So as a user experience designer, we design flows for UI. So you're really trying to create the experience of like going through a website. Unlike graphic design, it's a dynamic experience. So you have to consider if something is for the desktop, the tablet, and the mobile, and it has to scale, right? It's not a fixed amount of space like a piece of paper or like a poster.
Sure, yeah.
There's like the same design has to be responsive and scaled depending on what browser you're using. On top of that, it's like decision making, like if you're asking somebody to fill out a form do you put an input field? Do you put a radio button for this question, or a checkbox, or
Mhm.
multi-select?
Mhm.
Does it drop down an input field like a type ahead? There's like all these different kinds of considerations, and then there's things like the hover state, the error state, the disabled state.
Mhm.
So it's very, very dynamic. It's yeah, and that way it's very different from graphic design because things are always moving and changing. Um, and then you have to really consider like ADA, which is a form of compliance for people who are colorblind.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. So it's more UI than traditional like poster graphic design.
I kind of do the same, not the same, but when you mentioned, kind of make it work so it works on different platform. When you open a website, it's not gonna look the same on the phone, unless you go into that settings where you want it to look like, however, in your phone, so it fit like all the pages and images fits. I have this option on my website creator, um, that is through my registrar, through cPanel, and they have an option there that is like auto layout, but I don't
Oh,
trust. Yeah, but I don't trust it because the images that I put sometime here, I mentioned earlier when we take a picture and I upload it into the website, and when I do that on the auto layout, it fucks it up. Because there's a lot of images that I not a lot, but every image that I put there, when I put the auto layout, it like messes it up. I don't like the layout, the way that they do it. I can't specifically rearrange my images that I want um perfectly. If I did the auto layout, it'll do its thing. It's gonna auto layout. It might work sometimes, but it might not. There's still a lot of messiness when it comes to choosing that type of thing. So I just manually do it. So whenever I pick there's like a specific platform that you can pick, like a desktop or like a large image, tablet, and then a phone. And I go to that individually and rearrange my images, and then I publish it whenever I upload anything from there on. Because I learn now.
yeah. A lot of things on in design like really have to be considered. It's actually interesting you mentioned that because like for the paper, we designed it like a poster where it's pure graphic design, nothing is changing. But
Mhm.
over time, I realized like a lot of people are still looking at it on their phone. So how the design has evolved for the paper is a lot of the texts are now in more narrow columns. So
Mhm.
even though you kind of have to scroll on your phone a bit, I made it so that it's a little bit easier to read. That nothing gets wider than 6 columns on our grid. So like, nothing is wider than half the page,
Mhm.
because otherwise it would have been real hard to read. So that's a kind of an interesting challenge for this paper. That like even though you're meant to read it on your desktop, like a physical paper that's like really wide, we still design it closer to easier for people to read on the phone too. So the columns tend to be more narrow.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, we have to. I basically hand lay out the articles every single time, and they're usually different. Try to do different things. Like uh, the editors will give me just a picture and just a text, and then maybe a title. And then what I try to do is like take out parts that are more interesting and like highlight them. Like maybe I'll edit the pictures so it's just a person and not the background, like in the Tiny Traveler example.
Mhm.
Or maybe I'll like pull out a quote, like make it bigger. If it's a Q&A, like maybe I'll like make the question like a little bit larger so it's like more interesting. So just like really trying to find ways to find places of visual interest for the user.
Yeah, that's really cool. Hold on, I'm trying to get a port to org. And So what are your progress in your guild right now? Are you guys clearing BWL or?
I think we're going pretty well. Like our DPS and healers and tanks are all really, really strong.
It's nice.
So BWL is going great. We always clear it.
Cool.
I don't know. I would say we have it on farm. There's like some kinks here and there. Maybe we'll wipe like once or twice, but it's actually been pretty smooth, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's kind of you have to pretty much wipe when you go to BWL. Like, you get lucky enough to not wipe. That would be like a world record for us if we don't wipe on any boss. Um, Especially Veil Trasses. Because I think people don't pay attention to their threat most of the time. And
Yeah.
and
Veil and Fire Maul is like where we wipe the most. I think that's true for most people.
I'm kind of getting my weapons. Yeah, I'm kind of getting my training on my out right now, on my weapons especially because I need to get all the buy them on the auction house or something. This is not What's nice about this is later on in creating an alt, there's a lot of people that's already level 60, and you can get by just asking the mage to port your alt character from places to places. Hence the reason why I created that song, the mage song.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've heard that one, but I listened to your songs and they're actually so awesome.
Yeah,
Like huge props.
yeah, thanks. That's another thing that I started thinking about since, you know, why I'm already like putting less effort into this podcast by just talking. It's not like scripted. It's just a conversation. People can hear this from anyone. Like, right? Like, I mean, it's nothing like profound questions or anything like that. You know, some of them are really like dumb questions. It's just something to get by when I'm trying to do my alt and trying to level my alt, and also trying to get to know the actual characters behind the players, and even sharing real life stuff that kind of gives us a little bit of perspective on if other people want to join the server. You know, maybe they can tune in to the podcast and kind of want to get to know what people are like, especially when talking to them. And this is kind of they can reference to this and they can listen to it to see if they like it. But I've been kind of enjoying this a lot, and especially like I said, when it comes to talking to Alliance. I wish that a lot more Alliance would sign up, and this is where there's no pressure, but this is where you and Rectitude and all these people that have been interviewed would actually help a little bit, so we could get more Alliance in this podcast. I mean, there's a Discord for that too, so that's actually helping a lot. Discord, and we just got back our Reddit page too, so that's a plus for that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So did you beat Dead Minds yet, or
did I what?
Are you done with Dead Minds? Sorry.
Oh, I think we're gonna be here until this person's done. Like, I started at level 10, which is when you can enter Dead Mines, and we gotta get it to 20.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we'll be here for a while.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I don't want to meet you outside because I'd probably get killed. It's like, who's this guy? Speed limit, and then Dead Mines now is waiting for me. He's gonna take a picture. No, wait. I don't want. I only wanted the picture from your priest anyway. So.
Yeah. Do you not play every day?
No, I don't. My schedule right now is Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays.
Oh.
But sometimes I would get on just random days without including those days because of my limited time. I still work, and I'm not. I don't consider myself as an essential worker because I don't work in the weekends and you still get 40 hours. But really, the time for me that the reason why I don't play every day is just family stuff. Having kids and
No,
stuff.
yeah, it's chill, it's chill.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'll definitely find the time to be able to get this picture with you, though.
yeah. I used to just have everybody send me a screenshot of themselves, but I'm kind of changing it so to make it more like oh I was with you when we did this, so it's more like a memorable, I guess. Sometime maybe in the future, you could look at the website, be like, oh yeah, I interviewed this guy. Look, that's me right there. But I did that with Rectitude and Tannerus, so it was kind of fun. He was actually he said that he could kill me right there, so I just ran after the picture. He's like, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, nah, if you would, that would have been funny. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention, like any shout out or anything like that before we depart?
I don't know. Shout out to and the boys. Come join us. We're a bunch of really, really troll, memey, funny people. Not toxic at all. Contrary to what people think, we're actually just trolls at heart. Um, yeah, and then if anyone wants to join the Daily Deviant, looking for one designer. And that's it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, likewise. It's one of these things that makes me want to play this game all over and over again. Just interviewing people and recreating music. I actually have like three more songs that I need to record. I'm kind of being lazy right now, so I was gonna make like an outro for your interview, but I don't know if I have time to record the music. So I apologize.
No, all good, all good. I'm looking forward to your songs though. They're super awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for doing this again, and I'll get that picture with you sometime.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
See you around.
See ya.